It's 9 o'clock, the 30th day of August, 2025. Welcome aboard the big set on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. We're right here on Plot 12, Mutilen, Boma Hill, right opposite Ontari School is where you can find us. Now, don't hesitate if at all you want to create mileage for your business, create a promotion, or any activity. Reach out on us for advertising space for all the discounts. Don't wait for November Love to advertise with us. It's just now that you can still do that. We're online and on air. You can listen in on www.cruisefm.com/stream. Cruise TV is on. That's courtesy of Creative Digital Media. They are streaming us, so you can just go on YouTube, type in Cruise TV. You can be able to watch all that is happening here. The team is already full in studio. We'll be riding together all the way to 11 o'clock. Now, to be a part of the conversation, you will call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. On Facebook, we are 91.2 Cruise FM. On X, we are 912 Cruise FM. And on Instagram, we are 91.2 Cruise FM. Go follow, like, comment, give us feedback. And we'll improve. We are celebrating about 14 years of being the best in the region. We're not about to stop. So we thank you so much. For those that are locked on the big seat and always follow religiously, I want to appreciate you so much. We do this for you. Now, we have a lady and a gentleman here with me in studio. But before we get into a topic of discussion that is already on our social media, let me give you a rewind of the week. We know that we had fake bomb blasts, I think, earlier this year. And that has landed Major General James Birungi in trouble. He's been detained this morning, we told, at Maki in the military barracks there. And General Mohoz is carried this time around. Yes, you remember that there was a lady that was killed on June of the 3rd. And there have been a couple of bomb scares there, but reports came out to say some were fabricated for intentions known by the actors of those activities. Now, we also know that Kampala Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago and the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja had loggerheads over the ongoing refurbishment of Nachivubo Channel with the businessman Hamisti Gundu taking this. And we know that the NUP councillors are on the hotspot for giving leeway for Mr. Gundu to build on the 9-kilometer channel of Nachivubo. We are following this closely. We know that the president gave a green light to Mr. Gundu to go ahead and develop this area. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, decisively defeated the former Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Rebecca Kadaga, to a 92% of the vote as the Vice Chairperson, female, at the Central Executive Committee of the National Resistance Movement. She garnered 11,680 votes against 902 of the former Speaker. Mike Mukula withdrew from the breast in Eastern region due to widespread corruption that we shall be able to talk about this morning. The NRM also declared Tanga Collins, son of the National Resistance Movement Electoral Commission Chairperson Tango Doi, as the duly elected National Chairperson. Tanga Collins garnered about 1,567 against Brenda Chichoncho's 1,355. And now let me give you the list of those that were able to make it. And now we know that SEC is composed of General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is the chairperson, Alhaji Moses Chigongo. I have the Right Honourable Anita Annette Among as the second national vice chairperson. The vice chairperson, Northern, is Dennis Hanson Bua. Eastern, David Calvin Echodu. And Central, Haruna Cheineka Solo. And then Western, a new face that we basically didn't know, Jonad Akiki Asimwe. And then Karamoja, you had John Baptist Loki. And then Kampala, Salim Uhuru. Historicals, Tom Botime, workers, Arini Tokajara. And then persons with disabilities, Mwanje Shafik. The elderly, the Ngana Businj Kabajina. Kavi Ngani, all right, that there. Businge Penana, veterans, Mshabe Moses, who was also a surprise, beating the Rujumbura General Jim Muhwezi. Then Women's League, Adrian Kopsinje, and then Youth, Colin Stanga. Let me welcome the team with me, and we'll kick it off. Good morning, Edgar Mtundisa, who is a petroleum engineer, and welcome to the big set.
Yes, good morning, Awanaji, and to the listeners out there. Indeed, it's great morning. And also, like you did mention, this election left us in a very interesting moods for the whole of last week because there were a lot of surprises and a lot of things becoming clear. And yes, and
Anything that caught your eye this week away from the election?
out from the election. I think this week was majorly so much focus on the election for me.
All right.
Yes,
Welcome,
we'll see
Edgar.
more. Thank you.
All right. Bruce Wakunda, good morning and welcome to the big set.
Good morning, Wesley, and good morning to my fellow panelists, and good morning to the listeners. I'm pleased to be back on the big seat and make a contribution towards building my country.
Thank you. Welcome, Bruce Wakunda. Yes, Sifa Safi, good morning and welcome to the big set.
Good morning, Banyaji, and thanks so much for having me. Good morning, my colleagues in the studios. He's 30-something. Well, we are not saying that we should all be one, figure one, and whatever. Kunkari hope hango burnomu. Iwale botakubasa kutemba stairs ibiri okatandika kuhahajira. Wale botakubasa kutambula kuruga cruise okahika antari school. Then there is something wrong with you. Kale obuhango boy never be able to fit, obol fit. Because of course they are warning that it is one of the killers in this country, not in this country, but generally in this world, globally, it is an issue. So people should be on the lookout. But relatedly, ninshaba government tuyambe abo kuba bagize ngo arabye bishazu ebakora mu factory ebikuchira kozi w'abantu abakora snacks hamhanda na hand ebye bishazu biri very dangerous tukukimanya for you just look at chips zukurebuka je ninga shamandazi ninge bichi ngabagize ngo ebye bishazu ebakoza bire ekizibu munonga. Actually internationally standards zikaza hiri myaka 5 for all these countries kubaninga ebintu ebyo, but as we speak bityo bigendo mission including here in Uganda. So please nimureke ebintu ebikureta endwara mubura kubitangira. And remember, when something has escalated, it might be hard to revert. So, nishabango bichikwataho, barebe chengwe bimite bitakukizibwa butale byarekera. How much as we want taxes and all that, kungamagara at the end of the day ndicho chikuru mnonga. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome, Sifo Safi. Good morning, Apollo Tumsimi, and welcome to the big set.
Thank you very much, Banyaji. Pleased to be here this morning. Yeah, my name is Apollo Tumsimi, and I subscribe to the Alliance for National Transformation. And importantly, I was duly nominated by my party to hold the flag for the constituency MP for Nyabushozi, and I'm looking up to that.
People had to carry sacks of money to get tickets, and the blows were exchanged. Yours was an easy slide. How did that happen?
Yeah, it's always swift and
with him after all.
Sifa, sorry.
Sifa, you not
yes,
yes.
I mean, you're a competent person in that case. So.
Thank you. I mean, we are
Like coffee.
it's all about how you organize.
Yes.
And yes, Sifa is making a point because there is no that stiff competition. Of course, we have had a competition in some constituencies where you have like 2-3 people vying for the same seat, and but we also to take the NUP way of harmonization, and in the end we end up getting one singular candidate. But away from that, Banyaji, I've been reading the monetary policy statement of the Bank of Uganda for the month of August. A shilling has been stable for a couple of months now against the dollar. Actually, it's as if like a dollar is depreciating a bit against the shilling. Now says around 3,500 something. And it's attributed to two major things. One, there was an increase in the volume of coffee production. You know, people, of course, were crying about prices, but then the volumes were high. Of course, we recorded around like 2.6 billion increase in the production of coffee. And I urge farmers out there that it is something that you should pick interest and plant those coffee trees if you have some land. Some people get scared that they think coffee takes a lot of time, but if you make your wife pregnant, it is important that that very moment you also plant some coffee trees of coffee. By the time your child starts school, that coffee will be able to take care of that child. So please, if you have some land, invest in that.
That analogy is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't have the woman to pregnant, there are so many women around.
Hey.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Apollo Tumsime. And Peter Mpaka, good morning and welcome to the big set.
Yeah, thank you, West J. And I also want to say good morning to my fellow panelists here and the management of Cruise FM. For me, at least I can place it to you that by close of business yesterday, lists of those that had been literally nominated to be flag bearers for the National Unity Platform was out.
Any surprises? At least, what did Latif Sebagala do to the NUP? A senior politician, having served as member of parliament for Kawempe for 20 years, he sought the flag. You gave it to literally Akasamba Budongo in Segirinya last time. You denied him a flag. Now you're doing the same. What did this man do to the NUP?
No, there's nothing that Latif did to NUP. I've said it here several times that the NUP has a categorical 3-step or 4-step phase or process in selection of its flag bearers or card bearers. So if they do a ground check and find that you're weak on ground, if they come and ask you a few questions,
but how is a person who served in parliament for 20 years weak on ground?
As far as we are concerned in the NUP is that we got the best candidate. So, and a winning candidate, a person we support who is going to give us the seat.
Okay.
And that is it, and we are contented with it.
We also saw
the rest of the rhetoric by these NRM propagandists, we would just leave it at that.
There is also something else we saw that was strange. Individuals who apply to be councillors in particular places. I applied to be, for example, a councillor for Nyamitanga, and I'm put in Kakoa. There are councillors that applied to be councillors in Banda. They were put in Chireka. Those that applied to be in Nakulabye, they are put in Bakuli. What is that? And candidates show of the places they have strength or they want to serve. Where did the power of the elections management committee to alter people and rotate them around?
But the question should be, are those who have been changed complaining? Yes. Are they complaining? If they are complaining, then the party, the EMC will readjust. Maybe it was a mistake.
That cannot be an oversight.
For me, that's what I see. But most importantly is that we are selecting the best candidate in those places.
All right.
Yeah.
People have been saying they're waiting for lists of Kamwenje, of Soro, of Mbarara councillors, and none is there. Will you at the same time blame the NRM for literally being victorious in the 2026 elections when you literally don't have people to vie for places in the entire western region, literally?
But I'm here.
Minus a few pockets.
I'm here contesting for Mbara City North as MP.
We haven't talked about
why
that. I'm talking about councillors.
Yes.
There are districts in western Uganda.
Yes.
We are yet to see a list of councillors shortlisted as flag bearers for the NUP.
But you see, the most important thing that we should agree with is that NUP is still a young party that is building structures. You cannot compare us with a 40-year-old party that is fused with the state. So where we don't have a councillor, for example, we don't have a councillor in Rwenjeru, we don't have a councillor in Nyauhama, but we still have a window. Actually, for the purpose of that question, I want to give listeners my phone number, 0756 56 again 9977. In case you are interested in contesting in Nyauhama, in Kakoma, in Nyarubanga here, in Kamukuzi A here, please contact me 0756 56 9977 and we give you the flag. But we should appreciate. No, it's not posturing. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm posturing? I'm looking. We're still actively looking for candidates.
We're stopping for a short bumper. When we came back, right into a topic of discussion. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great.
We're back. It's 22 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. Good morning from wherever that you're catching the show. My name is Wesige Banyaji. We are here on Plot 12, Mutile, Mbara City, right opposite Ntaure School on Doma Hill. Now, if at all you want to catch the show but you're outside of our frequency here, you can be able to listen online on cruisefm.com/stream. But if at all you're in other places, in Juba, in Johannesburg, in Kuwait, all these places, you can be able to watch all that is happening here. Just type on YouTube, Cruise TV, slope down, you'll be able to see everything that is happening here. It's full house. I have Sifa Safi, who is a big seater and a political analyst. I have Mr. Apollo Tumsime, who is a member of the Alliance for National Transformation. Lucky enough to be handed the flag for Nyavushozi constituency there. Good luck. And I have engineer Edgar Mtundsa, who is a big seater also. He's an East African youth ambassador. I don't know whether it has term limits. The term could have expired, but we shall retain the title. I have Mr. Bruce Owakunda, who is a political analyst, a member of the National Resistance Movement. I also have Peter Mpaka, who wants to be member of Parliament, Mbara City North, on the National Inter-Platform ticket. Chahwil. All right. I want you to contribute by dropping us a line on our social media handles, 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. I'll be able to read some of those messages, but don't hesitate to call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let me start with Apollo Tumsime. We are here to talk about whatever that transpired at Kololo. There is so much. It's the first time we saw people like Flight Captain Mike Mukula crying because their opponents had bags and sacks of money. It was the first time the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadag saying, I have never seen this. I saw a statement by Chris Baryomonsi, which I think we should in fact play here. And hear what, but I'll find it, and then we hear what Baryomonsi had to say on that election. These were statements they made before the president. Let's hear what Baryomonsi had to say.
Whether I win or not, I cannot associate with this kind of election, Your Excellency. It is a very big embarrassment for NRM to organize this kind of election where people just run from one politician to join another. There is no election to talk about here, Your Excellency. Whether I win or not, the results will be illegitimate. And we would want a clean process. Although they haven't done it, I disagree with whatever results will come out of this poll, especially for Western, Your Excellency. And if NRM continues like this, then there will be a problem, Your Excellency. You can ask some of the voters who are here, this is not an election, Your Excellency. No, you can shout, I have been moving around, but Your Excellency, this has been a sham. And personally, I do not agree with the way the process has been taken, Your Excellency.
Okay, Dr. Williams, we are going to, this is easier to prove what Dr. Williams is saying, which is similar to what Karango was saying, is easier to prove.
The fastest way.
Okay. Thank you. That was Dr. Chris Baryomonsi and the response by the president. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Banyaji. First of all, I want to congratulate the NRM for having whatever they call an election, whether it was an election or something. But I want to congratulate them. First of all, it's a process that needs to be managed when you're very sober. It's unfortunate that we saw what transpired at Kololo. At some point, I felt for the delegates themselves, like you transport people from villages. I saw old women crying, sleeping in chairs. They were supposed to spend 2 days. They end up spending up to 4, 5 days. Not well facilitated. Some have businesses, some have families. They had to forego so many activities to participate in such an election. The crying fouls. For example, Dr. Baryomunsi really has, he does not even have any space for us to discuss his sentiments. First of all, the election, he was involved in Chinchizi East, where he almost recruited the whole barracks, moved it to Kinkizi East. And there was violence, and people were told not to vote because people got scared because of the Yame. And these are the same things that he is talking about in Kololo. He was defeated by unknown Jonad Asim. I was silently following that election. Actually, Jonad is someone who was on ground looking for elections. In accusations, Jonad is not talked about to do things with money. His accusation is, of course, maybe bring non-delegates and such kind of people to vote for him. But for sure, I think Baryomunsi should just accept the defeat. I know that he is someone who was planted to oust Chalugonza the other time, specifically to do that, to humiliate Chalugonza, General Chalugonza. And just this week, he was also given a treatment that he deserves. So that one, we have nothing to talk about him. Let me just talk about Right Honorable Kadaga and Speaker Among. This is also unfortunate. This is unprecedented. First of all, Kadaga should acknowledge that her time is up in terms of not that he is old or he's aging, because we have so many grandparents who are living beyond the age that God must have set for them.
There was actually a picture that trended on Twitter that matched the Honorable Miriam Matembe, who is 72, and the Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, who is 69. And certainly Kadaga looks a bit older.
Yeah, but for me to say that her time is out, it's not because she is old, but because the interests from her master do not no longer exist, because she was used to do all the things she did when she was a Speaker of Parliament, including keeping the president in power. Like she proudly said that if she was not the one in charge of that seat, we would not be seeing President Museveni here. And that's very true. By the way, if Kadaga was not there, we wouldn't be seeing President Museveni. But now, it's unfortunate that Right Honorable Anita Among, she was using that as a campaign tool. She actually said that my position at SEC will help me to serve the interests of NRM when I am the Speaker of Parliament. And it's very unfortunate that someone thinks who is the head of the legislative arm of the government, that is the third arm of the government that is supposed to check the government itself, but she wants to use that position to influence the decision of the cabinet, decision of the party on Ugandans, and it's very bad. In any case, she's not sure whether she's going to be the Speaker in the next Parliament, or she's going to be in the next Parliament herself. But she wants to show us that she has already taken a step in that Parliament. So that's very bad. Yeah,
I actually want the Honorable Rebecca Kadaga to go home, not because of anything, but she looks frail. She looks not in good shape. I'd rather have such a grandmother. Just take a sit back and relax.
Yeah, but also President Museveni is
but you see, it's President Museveni who is able to endure steating from 9 to 4 a.m. or 6 in the morning at 82, literally.
Yeah, but
it's incomparable.
He has to be relieved of his duties as well. Okay, he tried to make some funny jokes there when he was running to the tent. This is someone who, instead of walking from Nakasero State House to Kololo, He came in his convoy, in his cars.
You-
Then reaching there, he decided to jog for 1 minute. Something.
Thank you,
something
Apollo.
so funny.
Thank you, Apollo. Before we came for the show, I think throughout the entire week, I would debate with Bruce. And I think this is literally surgical operation of replacing the old guard with a new breed of leaders that can work with General Muhoozi, which you dispute, because you said that General Muhoozi endorsed Major General Jim Muhwezi for veterans league chairperson,
And,
but he lost.
And his man in charge of mobilization,
Yeah,
Michael Mawanda.
yes, and this man, Mike Mawanda, and literally everyone who is in good books with the good general did not make it. Talk to us about that.
Well, first of all, let me take the opportunity to congratulate NRM upon conducting these activities to get leaders in our different party organs. This is not new. It is a routine. This is a ritual. So thousands of people you saw gathered at the Kololo ceremonial grounds. That was a massive event, as you saw. Very many people. So you cannot expect perfection. As any other process, there were some few anomalies. But unlike other political parties like Peter Mpaka's, for us, we don't want to handpick leaders as if we are picking coffee. We believe people should not sit in a boardroom and handpick leaders. One of the founding principles of the movement is democracy. There should be internal contestations. As you saw, the election was competitive. I also want to congratulate our party chairman.
But when leaders say this was not an election, it is a demonstration of the degeneration of the democracy you're talking about.
Well, that's the opinion.
Yes.
For us, we had an election.
Okay.
After all, you don't expect them to say otherwise.
After losing.
Yes.
I don't talk, you see, we don't talk over fellow panelists, so that we have managed time. Yes.
So as I have said, you saw the political contestation that happened there. I also want to congratulate our party chairman, who, like you said, he sat for close to 17 hours. At one point, because it was televised, I saw him moving at different polling stations, trying to observe the election. That he even left at 4 a.m. speaks of his unflinching commitment and devotion to achieving what he sets his eyes on. About what transpired for Rebecca Kadaga, I admire her so much. There are not very many people that can look our party chairman in the eye and express themselves like she did. But at every particular at one point in time, you might be the loudest, but not the most important. And that was very clear. Prior to what you saw when the chairman was reporting to the NEC,
maybe a listener would want to know, why was it very possible for the president to convince all those that were competing against Alhaji Moses Chigongo? How come the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the entire secretariat made it very impossible for other members of the National Resistance Movement to stand against the chairperson?
That's what I was...
But it was impossible to convince Anita Among to stand down for
That's
Rebecca
what
Kadaga.
I said. Prior to what you saw in NEC, SEC had sat to harmonize on different positions. Some of the people, in the interest of the party, not their personal interests, agreed to step down. Kadaga and Anita Among, nobody was willing to pave way for the other. The party chairman intervened, but was unsuccessful. That's how, during the president's briefing, the party chairman's briefing, he had to give them an opportunity to talk to the NEC. And at that particular time, I think that's when Kadaga's fate was sealed. She lacked the presence of mind, she lacked the humility and emotional intelligence to
read the room,
to read the room and navigate those challenges. I don't think you can publicly blackmail the president like she did. First of all, there were ethnic undertones, tribal undertones. She wanted to behave like she's the gateway to Busoga. And Museveni said, who revenged for the Basoga? Is it you or Aunt Becky? So for me, and it was clear from the start. Anita Among was going to win that election. But I admire Rebecca Kadaga. She served with distinction. She became a member of parliament in 1989 during the National Resistance Council. She has been occupying that same position for 20 years. She was a deputy speaker for 10 years. She was a speaker of parliament for 10 years. She's now in charge of regional corporation. Third deputy prime minister.
And first deputy prime minister.
First deputy
prime minister.
Prime minister. So some of the people thought maybe we need new energy, like you saw indeed. The theme was new energy. Most of these people were replaced. The delegates that decided.
Some information.
Seasoned politicians
in
like
30 seconds,
Jim
in 30
Wales.
seconds. Yeah, thank you, Bruce. But you see, I don't want to use Stella Nyanzi's words where she described both of them using an example of a condom. In any case, who wants the new energy? It is President Museveni, because he always picks people to serve his interests, and he knows this person is the one in parliament, is the one in charge of legislature. You saw what happened when they were passing UPDF amendment bill. A lot of rules of procedure were set aside just to run a bill within 3 days, and it's out. And that's why President Museveni would not ask Anita Mong to step down, because he knows it's going to be an injury to himself.
I don't understand your choice of words. When you say Museveni picks, what do you mean? She appointed Anita Mong as second national chairman, or she was voted by the delegates?
He had all the powers to tell the one
Bruce,
to step down.
Bruce,
he had all the powers.
You see, we can sit here and be cosmetic and sidestep the gist of the matter. But the truth is, the president, the powerful, invisible president that we know, could have ordered Anita
to step down.
Among to step down, and she would have.
But that
but it wasn't in his interest.
Why not Kadaga?
Why order?
I don't know why you wanted the Anita Mong
to
be the one to step down because of Kadaga.
But he
ordered
Nzire
to step down.
What the president said. Let me tell you what the president had proposed.
Please.
And this was televised. It is on record. He said, you should harmonize. I've told Anita, I've told Kadaga. One of you should step down for the other. Then I can use my discretionary powers granted to me by the NRM constitution to nominate one of you, because the president has 5 positions. They call them eminent members. For them, he just nominates them and they go there, including Kahindo Tafire, including Ruhakana Rugunda, and some other three people. He said, I am going to use that power I have.
But perhaps we could take it back a bit. General Mohozi on his Twitter handle exclaimed, literally, saying, who permitted Nzire to stand for sake? We have not cleared that gentleman, and we are recalling him, literally. If at all I use that same statement, you see? And then the president and those that have the power could not recall or even coerce or even, have consensus or even sweet talk Anita to leave the seat.
The president was even clear in his words. He said, I don't have the authority to veto, to tell you step down. For Nzire, he said it was even a tug of war to try and convince Nzire to step down. Because Variomus had already made it sentimental and said it in that SEC meeting that it is the president who has brought Nzire. So Nzire was also persuaded and he accepted. But the story is different when it came to Kadaga and Anita Among.
We saw Anita Kadaga saying, literally, meaning that the president had sent Anita Among to oust her from the position. That's
why I said Kadaga lacked the emotional intelligence
we're stopping for a short breather. When we came back, Edgar Mtunsa will first of all take us back to that public sake engagement. Was Rebecca Kadaga handed a rope to simply kill herself before every other person, and she just fell into the trap that the president literally laid for her? After the breather, don't touch your radio. We'll be right back. Good morning.
It's tough. It's bold. It's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
All right, it feels good this morning. We're talking about what transpired at Kololo during the National Delegates Conference for the National Resistance Movement. And prior to that, literally before the voting, we saw the president saying, you see, this is not up to me. It's up to the delegates and members of the resistance movement. Let's hear from these two parties, all right? They were given an opportunity. And Anita Among was vying on the position that she has the ability to mobilize Eastern Uganda and the entire country for a block vote for President Museveni, of how Kadaga did not deliver Eastern Uganda last time with Mike Mukula and the breast. This was literally a promise of 2026, you are assured of a landslide on my back. Which, yes.
Someone made a very realistic comparison.
Yes.
In terms of football. Said just because Anita came 3 years ago, it's like saying now that you've brought Yokeres as Arsenal, he should not score a goal because Saka has been there for a very long time.
I hear you.
A win is a win for the party.
Okay. Edgar, tell us what you saw and how you regard it.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Manaji. I think it was very interesting for last week. But one, I don't think Rebecca was just handed a rope to just come and hang herself. Maybe actually that could have happened, but I think it was clear from the start that the party didn't want her. And the party, by the party here, I mean President Museveni. So it was very clear. And somehow I think she also knew deep down, otherwise, if she has any, of course, wisdom, which I believe she has, and has studied Museveni for some time, she wouldn't have made such a speech that was more of an activist speech. Given that you don't do that before Museveni. So at least anyone, even us who are the outsiders, know that. So imagine that someone as close to Museveni like Kadaga for all those years has been around.
The last public official that dared Museveni publicly, the acting chairperson for Kasita, Issa Sechito,
Yes.
asked the president, when did you start acting like this? How can we have literally this? You as our president, when you're making such decisions, and you know the president, his answer was very clear. Tokiriza bakolachi. So this is the general we are talking about.
Exactly. So I believe really Kadaga knew that, and the fact that she still went ahead to make the speech that she did, I think for sure she knew that she was no longer desired. She knew she had no journey. And then she just had to use that opportunity to share whatever sentiments she had. So I don't think that was a surprise. Now, however, you didn't mention something about how, was it the MOK's people that were pushed out? I don't think so. I think, as you stated, even for Nzeire, it was the same general who was saying, this one we didn't clear. How come we're seeing him trying to contest? And also Museveni tells you he has no much part in this election. I think that should tell you indeed who had the powers, so much powers in choosing this number of people and these members of SEC. In fact,
but his allies were defeated.
No, those were just the few ones and those ones who are known. But look at the ones who won. Are they not the allies? Isn't Kasolo an ally? Isn't Uhuru an ally?
Isn't Anita Among an ally?
Anita Among was telling us about the Holy Trinity and how the Father, we have the Son. Isn't he an ally? If you look at Echodu, Echodu is a very big ally. In terms of PLU, if you've been PLU corridors, he's very big supporter. So definitely, I think, I don't know whether it was also for optics, that somehow the known ones, the Mawanders, can step back as if it seems neutral, while the others who are, calm, still come over and still take the power, but I think it was definitely that way. And also, if you look at also the guys who are defeated, now like Rebecca, in that context, I don't think Rebecca would be as supportive as Anta Among when you come to accept the next president as Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the general. So I think she would put some barriers, she would put a lot of logic as opposed to Anita Among. But also I think it was very embarrassing, and I think I was talking with someone who told me that Anita Among's politics and even her campaign, it looked like the ones we used to have in Senior 2, where you go and you tell the students that if they elect you as the head prefect, you would probably abolish wearing of school uniforms. That's how she speaks, with no shame, with no anything. Like, for instance, at that time when she was talking about how she's going to pass things of NRM when she becomes speaker, no one really has any intelligence can say such statements. Even when they practically get to do that, Because as you would see, even the Kadagas, even all these guys, we're passing NRM agenda, but they would do it with some level of sobriety, which this guy lacks. Now, let's still, Mr. Wanyaji, before, on the issue of monetization, where we
I want to bring it in the second hour, but at least let me bring in Sifa. Sifa, where you sit, I think the most important election that we all were looking up to is the Rebecca Kadaga, Anita Among. These are two women that were locking horns on who should be the highest in the party. And eventually we know where it went. Did you predict this happening?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. And thank you to my colleagues for their submissions. We saw this come. I saw this coming. And for sure, even if you're a junior in the politics of Uganda, you'd have been able to read and see that Among had an upper hand in this particular seat. But it is unfortunate that a person of Kadaga's caliber, Banyaji, and with her experience in the politics of Uganda, the years she has served as a speaker, as whatever all those positions, it is unfortunate that she couldn't read the environment. And to me, if you asked me, it was a test to this lady, but she did not read it. Actually, she failed it. And this has been it's going to be a turning point in the politics of, in her politics as a woman and as one of the experienced politicians in this country. Yes, it was her choice to participate and be part of that, but Banyaji, when she was given that platform before the president and the chairman of the party, she would have used that opportunity at least to change the narrative. But for me, considering her choice of words, Banyaji, considering her tribalistic sentiments, considering the body language, some people even choose to describe it as a desperate effort. She was trying to signal.
But isn't it pretentious of all of us to downplay the role of ethnicity in some of these things? Because when the president is appointing cabinet or making certain decisions, he's able to look through the lens of religion and ethnicity.
Yes.
Why are we shy to say that our politics is premised on some of these collections?
That's also a narrative that has been peddled for long. He has never come out to... the president has never come out to say, I have appointed Banyaji because he's a Catholic or he's a Muganda.
No, he may not have to say it, but he's cognizant of those facts and he's in considerations of particular regions and religions. So why are we shy, Sifa, to if this lady was honest enough to say, I am the kingpin of Busoga, eliminating me from the breast, would put the NRM in a less position? Isn't it a matter of fact?
Banyaji kingpin my something. Now, Let me tell you, that is the problem we have here. I've been saying this severally, and I want to continue saying the same, that even around here in Western Uganda, we have people who think that if they cease to exist, for example, then politics in this particular region would cease to exist also, or we would not have representatives from this side. That is really wrong and very bad. I've never seen, like my friend said, the president appointing someone and saying this is because she's a Catholic, this is because she's this and that. Much as people put that around. Of course not. But then those people who say that is the case, where do you get that from?
Sifa Safi, you were practicing Muslim.
Yes, I am, and a proud one.
Yes, time and again we've had Muslims rebuke the president for his appointments of not being cognizant of the need of the Muslims to occupy some of those high offices.
Yes, but
and they've been clear to say, why have Muslims been sidelined? And we, citizens of this country, our daughters and sons have gone to school and have accumulated all that is needed to serve in public interest. But we are never appointed. Wouldn't it be wrong that if Muslims can say it, an ethnic group can say it?
Banyaji, you are very right and correct. And some people have been right to say the same. I'm Muslim, like you said. And at one point, people were saying, look at these RDCs we have in this country and their deputies and their assistants. How many Muslims do we have? And it is something to listen to and to give attention to as well. But in this particular case, Anita Among is not from, I don't know, she's from the East, I think.
She's from Bukedia.
Yes, exactly. That is East. So for me, if by any coincidence, this person in the shoes of Anita Among was from this particular region of the country, I don't know where we would be right now. Because they were going to say that he's in favor of someone from the West, but Anita Among is from the East, and Rebecca Kadaga is from the East as well. So for me, this issue in this particular case does not apply. Because after all, these people contested, they convinced the delegates, and the delegates went for whoever they wanted. Someone at one point said that why didn't the president persuade or actually even order Anita Among to quit this race? But why? Because now the headlines would be he's a dictator, he's this and that, he's in favor of Kadaga and all that. So for me, the fact that we have delegates...
How come, Sifa, the president was able to order Nzire out of that race, And all other people that withdraw, some yes, who were convinced out, but some were simply ordered out.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is my analysis, Banyaji. It is different to convince Nziri out of this. It is a different thing from convincing Kadaga and Anita. Convincing one of the two, it is quite different. And besides, my friend said that there were these words around that particular issue with people saying that Nzeri was being brought in, to compete with Chris Badiomunsi. So it was incumbent upon the president to ensure that he was to convince this gentleman out of the race because his name had been pinned to the same. But for Kadaga and Anita Mong, it is a different case. Actually tried to tell them that whoever can step out for the other, it will be much better because after all, there was this condition and chance for one to be brought in directly by the president. But both of them, because some people want to call it ego, I don't want to call that, could not do that. But like I told you, Kadaga would have read that very clear in black and white that she had very slim chances to beat Anita in this particular case. But for me, Banyaji, after all that being said, one thing I want to say is yes, congratulations to NRM for organizing this particular thing. But then again, I want to maybe it was rural urban excitement for some people. I don't see why they had to behave the way they did. Engage in running battles with police, throw words here and there simply because they are putting on yellow and thinking that they are above the law. That is really uncalled for. And that above all that, what causes that is monetization, like some friends of mine have said here. If it wasn't for money, Banyaji, some people would not even have gone there. For your information, even these delegates, some of them would not have made it. And the fact that some people were stepping Omurukororo for the first time, they were excited. You knew who you were going to vote. You had gotten your money. So it should have just been orderly, vote your people, come back. But you're trying to show the whole country and the whole world that you can just be mad because you have been given all those sums of money and they hear allegations of phones and iPads and whatever. So it was quite a shame and embarrassing. So for me, does not guarantee good leadership for NRM, and after all it is going to bring in divisions and things we don't expect. So ichicheba kuja new blood, that one actually nanyenda kuchura bishinga off that people are in support of the people who are going to work well with the general and all that. It's not true, and it's not really the case, because we have seen people who we know very well that are very much in support of the general but did not make it.
Thank you.
So they were looking for NRM leaders but not necessarily for people who are going to work with the general.
Let's link up in the second
much.
hour, and Peter Mpaka here is going to tell us whether they are quoting Rebecca Kadaga and what it means for the statements of the president of the National Unity Platform at opening of the regional offices, where he said they would be interested to have Rebecca Kadaga come into the party and make her contribution, since she would be valued there. After a breather, we shall link up in the second hour of the show. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friend.
FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
All right, it's a minute past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. My name is Wesige Banyaji. Keep the conversation going on our social media handles, 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. If you want to catch the show and all that is happening here, you see the smiles of some of these. You can be able to watch all that on Cruise TV. That's courtesy of Creative Digital Media. Just type in Cruise TV. You will be able to see the link for the big seat and watch all that is here on Plot 12 Motilen. To be a part of the conversation, on call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. I want to appreciate particular individuals that call in. Madeline Hima, Crescent Saja Inisinjiro, Agawa Inisinjiro, and there's so many of you that make a contribution by call. We appreciate you. You're the MVPs of the show. With me in studio is Sifa Safi, Apollo Tumsime, Edgar Mtun, Sabruso Wakunda, and Peter Mpaka. Peter, are you quoting Rebecca Kadaga to join the party?
Thank you, Westje. It's very important that our listeners should know that all those who are disgruntled in the NRM and in the conduct of the elections, you are arms wide welcome into the National Unity Platform. You're highly welcome. Chris Bariomus, please don't die in NRM. You're welcome to join the mighty NUP. Even Rebecca Kadaga is welcome. But the decision is discretionary yours to make. We cannot force you. But as my fellow panelists have all submitted, we can all conclude that these were not elections. This was just a shame to our country. Now, Wesley, I want to make some observations from what I saw in the SEC elections, in the delegates conference. Number one, the number of delegates invited were around 25,000. But for all those elections that were held, there is no election where you have more than 50% of voters voting. Even in the highly contested election of Kadaga and Among, not 50% of all the delegates voted. So the question that the NRM should ask itself, if we invited Abantem to Adevil Nechweka no Kurengamu, ahabwencho bururu buri 10%. Like for example, the votes of the Bariomunsi and the Akiki, you have 4,000 for Akiki, you have 2,000 for Bariomunsi. Just about 6,000. So where do all the other delegates hide at the time of voting? Is it vote apathy or it's just business? Guys have come all the way from Karamoja, all the way from Kanungu to just go and enjoy life in Kampala as they feast on taxpayers' money. So this is something that is very, very dangerous for our country. Number two, one of the big lessons I've picked is that incumbents can lose. I want to tell Ugandans that incumbents can lose. President Museveni can lose. I don't know why we are all protecting President Museveni in his seat. President Museveni, we want change, but how will change come? We want change, how will change come? How has change come for all these people who have lost their incumbency? How has change come? I mean, all national vice chairpersons we have new ones. All specific departments, special interest groups, we have, new persons. So I want to tell Ugandans that the spirit in the country is a spirit of change. Even internally in the NRM, they are voting new people. So we need to brace up ourselves and vote for new leadership. Number 3 is that we need to come out, and this speaks out to the cries of the opposition. You've always heard after the election, opposition complaining, we were cheated. Actually, ekabengamba ngwejo nengamba yabasingirwe kuba kubasinga no mweruzo gwanyu kuba kubasinga ngwakaruru bakibe. But here we have even video recordings of Tango Doi counting from is it 160? He's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 160. Then when he reaches at 160, he says 170, 180, 190. You see, so for one person, he was counting 10. And he's a
he's a professor of history
who cannot add. A professor who cannot add.
What is there to add in history?
And then when we come and tell you that Banange Chaguranyi won the 2021 election and he was cheated, then you're like, so you people should know that turimu protest vote Karonde Katere Kando Kakume Ogume Hoba Kabara Okakume. When somebody starts to count and then he says 170, 190, you say no, from 170 we go to 171. And I'm here to arouse all of you change seekers. That's how they cheat us. You get 100 because you are a Peter Mpaka of Noop. Then they say, this one, let's give him 10. And then the one of NRM, the 100, they said this one, let's give him 1,000. They add a 0. Then on the question of Kadaga and Anita Among, I want to congratulate Kadaga very much. And actually congratulate even the Chris Bariomunsis and all those guys for exposing the rot in NRM, especially after 40 years in leadership. I congratulate their boldness. I congratulate their courage. I congratulate their charisma. I congratulate their ability to stand against the dictator, the Museveni, the hybrid dictator of the 21st or 22nd century? 21st century. That he arranges something that looks like this is the Museveni. He arranges something that looks like an election, just to play to the camera that my political party is having an election, so you, the Americans who demand for democracy, here we are in Kororo. And he is even able to give you a position for sympathy, to win your sympathy, that I was supervising the election up to 4 a.m. Which president can be in the darkness, in the night, in the coldness, up to 4 a.m. And we are all saying, Jaja Abereu. No, Jaja Aveku Meini, Yarese traffic jam. So I want to congratulate Kadaga. I want to congratulate her and the others for they themselves exposing the road and even exposing the behind the scene negotiations that have been going on, trying to force them out of the race.
The elephant in the room, the money. Every candidate on picking the microphone would say, this is unprecedented. We have never seen this volume of currency in an election. People spent billions of shillings to be voted into SEC, where they will not even be entitled to a single allowance or salary. How does this play out, Edgar Mtundi, sir? What was the intention of spending this big without return on investment expected? How does this work out?
Yes, thank you so much, Fanyaji. And I've been hearing people say there's no return on investment. I think there is so much return on investment because this is a ruling party. So the policies that we will work, the plans we will work with, the dynamics we will work with are all formed by NRM. That's if they win the next election. So, in fact, to me, I would argue that SEC is even more powerful than the cabinet. So these are the guys who will set things, who really drive, who would even really do the priority for the government.
But you and I know you can go to a company and a cashier has more money than a manager, simply because they have a feel of the money and they can manipulate the books here and there, even when they are low-ranking officials of a company.
Yes.
But you have a SEC member who one does not appropriate. So where are they going to get the money? They make no vote on the budget. Where are they going to get the money? But they have spent 20 billion in an election. How
Yes.
does that add up?
No.
There's making a policy. Yes, you're the initiator of a particular policy. You give direction of a party. But it has no monetary impact for you.
Now I'm going to give an example. These people meet the president probably almost maybe once a month
Yes.
of sake, of which I'm sure that comes with allowances. Yet the ministers that you think are employed, they meet the president, I don't know after how long.
Every Monday. Every week.
Yes.
for
But they
cabinet.
don't meet for that week. Imagine at least we have heard that when they go there, they're more of like one-way lectures, you know, so they don't even have the real power. Number two, you may say these guys don't appropriate because they're not MPs, but they are ones who will decide that for even our strategic mission here, a lot of money should go into this, and then they will coerce or they will compel their MPs to pass that in parliament. So even if they're not physically there. But also, so even in terms of money, you know, for instance, we have a lot of unclassified budget and all this. We don't know where that money ends. So I don't think really this election, there's not really any financial incentives. But secondly, we have heard how there are different brokers who are not even part of SEC that have been getting a lot of money by just connecting those traders, whatever, investors to president. So who is better positioned than this man who meets almost the president every month?
Contestant said why he was contesting is to avoid that 30 million bribe he had to pay to see the president.
See the president, exactly. So already that one has earned that 30 million that he would otherwise lose through other people.
Yes.
So there are real benefits. But secondly, now, on this issue of monetization, I think it's also good for the delegates. I would support it because to the point that these delegates
Isn't that downgrading the whole process? Because if at all you think if it's beneficial to a delegate to earn his 700,000, 1 million, then it's okay for as far as the process is polluted. If there is a beneficiary, we are good to go.
No, but
is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. But I don't need to stay. I want to say, first of all, I want to start with this, and I think I mentioned this I think even on my status sometime on WhatsApp, on how the same guys who are crying now because of monetization have they themselves been monetizing politics, just at a lower level. They've been bribing people with soap and salt and sugar, and now when they meet the real big boys, as they normally call it, now they're also crying. So this is a realization, and this is also the downside of monetization, that you can never be too rich. There will always be someone who is richer. So if the game is really about money, you'll always be embarrassed, just a matter of time. That you think you have the money today because you have power, you have positions, and then Bruce tomorrow comes with sacks of money and then you start crying. Yet you've been doing the same with soap, with salt, with this. So they can't cry now. This is the game. Like I've said, they started the reggae, and so they must dance to it. Now, beyond that, also for the delegates themselves, when these guys leave and go back to their villages, there are no structures that always keep them pay or give them money, and they do a great job for the party. They are known, they are asked questions, they are the real RDCs, I would say, on ground, yet they have no any structure to support them. So also this is the only chance they have to get money from these people. So even the economy, we have shared now.
All right. Thank you, Edgar. Bruce, this money thing is going to dip the party, because now every leader that you saw would say, President Museveni, if you don't intervene and stop this practice, the party is dead. We are imagining a situation where people have to recoup their investments. What does it mean for service delivery? Someone spent 50 billion in an election, because previously we would say someone spent 1.5 billion. That is now small money. If delegates are being given between 8 to 10 million, now we shall be talking about 30 billion. A person spending 30 billion. You have King Caesar Mulenga, who said, for every circle I'm putting 100 million. This is sick money that would be running our national budget. Bruce, shall we talk about the NRM if this becomes consequential?
It is sick money to you, but to the rest, money is
Yes.
money. But I actually saw the deputy speaker frustrated. I don't know if he was pretending, but he also couldn't make the business sense of it. He was asking, there are no payments at SEC. All you do is sit and make policy for the party. So how are you going to recover your 50 billion you've invested? But you see, Banyaji, politics is a high-stake game. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. people who are willing to even take their matrimonial homes to banks and mortgage their farms and buildings and plazas so that they can get those leadership positions. Eventually, we'll take over the party.
Oh, it is just a spirit. When you go to primary school, those students that are standing, those pupils that are standing for head prefect, timekeeper, they're bribing their fellows with sweets and lunch and free break and all this, even when they know zero at the end of the day.
So money and then violence. Even the Bible is clear. It says since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom has always suffered violence. So people that have a monopoly over money and violence are always going to take over leadership. But what happened here was unprecedented. It had never happened in the history of the movement that someone can kidnap delegates. But voluntary kidnapping.
No, but
accepting
we saw it in the youth election in was it 2016?
But they didn't take them. They did take them to Kenya. Imagine they crossed borders for 2 weeks. King Caesar Mulenga wrote to the president. He petitioned the president. He went to see delegates and they told them the delegates are not here. A video leaked of the delegates in Kenya. You'd see a man with 4 cousins, a man who has never reached in Kampala, a whole bottle. They actually said, "Wetuna daye Kampala, otuambe nera." You see, each vote for the Entrepreneurs League had reached 8 million.
People were having a blast in Nairobi.
People were having a blast. But I want to agree with my brother Edgar what he has said.
Yes.
How often does the delegates conference happen? So if I'm able to get because that is opportunity cost. I've closed my business. I've not attended to my banana plantation.
Is this where you want the party to head? Is this good for
that
democracy?
That is the reality. I've always told you, I don't want to be academic. I talk about politics as it is. Whether you no fantasy about it. And let me tell you, whether it is in a private sector, go and try to be a treasurer for your association and see if you're not going to bribe. Let your kid try to contest for head prefect in Mbarara High School Ontara and see. If you're not, even in other political parties, they don't want to say it. That the poor can no longer, I don't want to call I want to call Mpaka poor. But his chances of...
No, he doesn't have money.
So his chances, if you pit him against a Mwesu Gwarkari, who has the capacity to spend 2 billion, it is most likely that Rukari is going to win. So it is a reality now.
Okay.
I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know what we are going to do about it. But for me, I'm happy for the delegates. Money is in saturation.
Okay.
Let them buy clothes and buy meat for their families.
Okay. Let me go to Apollo. Apollo, you are an economist. We know what all this kind of public expenditure does to our inflation and the price of commodities. Now that we know everyone has money in their pocket, the prices are going to hype and all that.
But before we go to Apollo, what we should interrogate though is where do these people get such money from? They should profile them. Are they money launderers? But also, like Edgar said, when you are on SEC, most of them are local commission agents. An investor is here, wants to see the president, you have to give me 100 million.
Okay.
If they waive your taxes, you have to give me a percentage. So do not downplay those positions you see on SEC.
Okay. Apollo, the economic aspect, even when we think there was a lot of money that was spent, is the economy shocked enough to absorb some of this expenditure without affecting the macroeconomics?
Thank you, Vanyaji and Bruce. To begin with, at individual level now, survival in Uganda, I would say, is cheap and affordable to survive. Yes,
that means you associate with the statement of the president that any fool can live here.
That's very true, because there are some free mangoes somewhere in a certain banana plantation.
That no longer exists, sir.
Wait.
They are no longer free fruits anywhere in any rural community in Uganda.
Okay, but if someone went and worked as a porter and is paid 10,000, can try to spend it sparingly, so that they buy like a katogo on street for 2K in a day, and the next time, so they can survive for a couple of days. It does not happen like that in other countries. where survival is very expensive. What happens is survival here is affordable and cheap, but thriving is too expensive.
That's subjective. You spend more, they earn more.
That's what I'm saying. So thriving, like getting to that huge money economy, is very expensive, and this is what is Yes, this is what is beating.
Live below $1.
Yes.
This is what is beating us now. When we see money flowing, just like someone has just sprinkled maize pellets or something like that, being sprinkled everywhere, and we wonder whether this is our money, my money, because I don't have money in my pocket, but someone is spending 20 billion. So I still wonder whether this is supposed to be my money actually. And Bruce, yes, I'm saying, and Bruce is right to ask.
What have you just said? The man has said if he has no money and somebody is spending 20 billion,
this could be my money.
It could be his money.
Yeah, it could be my money. And Bruce is right to say, where is this money coming from? Because where does money come from? Should it be coming from a sale of a product or a service? There's no any other source of money, by the way. You must sell a service or sell a product for you to get money. Or something. Even if it is inherited, your father must be dealing in a certain service provision or selling a certain product. So where is the money coming from? And what is, going to your question, what does this mean for Uganda? And where is the Financial Intelligence Authority? Because I would expect them now to pick interest, because they are supposed to implement the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2013.
But I'm lost for credit. The way Tumsime is discussing, he's discussing as if he recently landed from some planet. The money that is being used by the Kalangwas, 30 billion, by the Anita Among, is from corruption. It is from corruption and land grabbing and humiliating the ordinary Ugandans. There is nothing to add or subtract. You remember during the parliamentary exhibition, people were exposing Anita Among. The driver would withdraw $2 million in a day.
Do you know what $2 million is?
That's what they gave us in the parliamentary exhibition. 7 billion.
That's 7 billion.
Yes. They were withdrawing it as if it's nothing. You remember?
Withdrawing that money from a bank would require the board of the bank to literally see it.
Hey,
that's a big fraction of their working capital.
10 trillion. Which is literally like a quarter of what, a half of actually the real spending in Uganda. The economists say the real spending, the money that circulates in Uganda in a year, is about 29 trillion. But 10 trillion of that 29 trillion is corruption, is bribery money, is cheated money, is. So I don't want us to water this discussion, guys.
Yeah. So coming back to your question, right now the inflation rate, of course, is averaging at around 3.9%, and it has
that's within good range, though.
Yeah, that's very and it's still. They are estimating that it is going to go up to 4.5, which is still within the range.
Gentlemen.
Yes, which is still within the range if it goes up to 4.5, as long as it is below 5. But we know what happened in 2011 during the walk-to-work campaigns. Of course, there was actually like a lot of money in that election, and some reports say that there was like printing of shillings and being invested into an election. And if you see what happened in Kololo, of course, this spending is not very much to shake the economy, but it is giving us a precedent that 2021 more money is coming. So the money that was spent in Kololo plus the money that will come in 2021 could result into an increase in prices of commodities at around the mid of next year. So just spend your money sparingly, just so that we are looking forward to some disaster.
Thank you. Sifa, whenever the element of money comes into the picture, it differentiates women. Women do not have a lot of money. Let's agree. By and large, if at all the stakes are about money, women, naturally women are not that corrupt. They would not find it very easy to bribe voters. And even when the principal is a woman, the implementers of some of these initiatives are men. So the language of money in an election going forward, where does this place the NRM? But eventually, in the bigger scheme of things, Ugandan politics.
I want to answer your question directly. You said women do not have money, and maybe let's say that's true, but we have other things. Don't think that bribery is all about money. We can bribe using other, even much important, even I don't know if it is important or even much stronger things. So yeah, that's true.
That one we all
That is
agree
not
here.
personal experience though, but I've seen this happen. I've seen this happen severally, Banyaji. I've even said it here that we know people who have been declared winners when actually they have not been winners, only that someone has just laid them somewhere. That is just not even news. Not even just in politics, but we know even at universities, we know at places of work and all that. So for me, we don't usually use money as women. That largely, it's not even something to neglect, but they use other things like I said. But then again, like the question was, you gave an example of, does it leave these women out? Because yes, somewhere, somehow it does. But then again, it brings a little bit of sanity in the politics of the country and in the elections. Because if women equally were distributing money like men were doing, it would be a different issue. But what I should let you know is that much as majority of women do not have this money, those who have it in abundance, that you cannot even imagine it. Because we've had allegations, it's an allegation, that people are giving iPads. And one of the people that has been, named in this particular thing is a woman. So I want to tell you that women who have money have it. And when they choose to give it out, they will give it out without even giving it another thought. Then I want to tell you, Banyaji, that in Swahili they say that hata dhini ni mukware. Even an important man can be lustful. So these people who do not have that money to give out want to. And in trying to do this, they will just look for other ways to do it. I've been told that some people have gone for kafuna. Is it kafuna or something? Not even this money from commercial banks, but for kafuna, simply because they want to get money to give in. And as a result, what is going to happen after this, you wait and see. Divorce, this all that noise, go to court because you want to do this and that, because you got money that you cannot pay. And maybe sometimes you borrowed money when your husband was not even aware, simply because you're into politics and you don't have that cash to give in. I want to give you an example also of stories we're reading on social media. We are seeing women who are stranded, like especially those who came from up country and they were going to Kampala for the first time, or even to Kololo specifically for that matter. So these people were just being compromised by other people who are taking advantage of them, Banyaji. You're a woman, you want to sleep, it is night, you thought you're going to be there for 2 nights like someone said in introduction here, and you cannot go where. So you have no choice but to abide by what someone is telling you simply because you want to survive in Kampala. So what I want to tell you is politics comes with a lot of things, but it is worsening as days go by. It is worsening, and you wait and see what is going to come in 2026, because people want to be there by hook or crook. It is a matter of life and death.
Okay.
But then I want to disagree with my friends, specifically my friend Bruce. You said these people should be investigated. Where do you get all this money that they are dishing out like that? It cannot be two-way. You said it is good for money to circulate in the economy, and you said they should be investigated. Kumele mwichiriza abantu abaye sente baziri mu economy mutaza kubabuza hizi rijiri. Kwa abe no yenda kulyenya mu mukazi wa yatekenya matu wa msijira shilingi na 10 utaza kubuza nguwazia. You eat money because other men are helping you out. Let's go by that.
Thank you, Sif. I think that's a very good conclusion. Let me come to Peter Mpaka.
Yes.
Peter, if someone is bribing 50,000 and their competitor is going to bribe 100, and if it is 1 million, the other one brings 2 million. This money thing is just numbers. We shall see a situation where a person is given 20 million per delegate. And before we know it, candidates are now using guns, where money is no longer the matter to sort the competition. Someone will be assassinated simply to put him out of the entire picture. Is this where we want the Uganda we envision to be?
Yes. No. To give a direct answer, no. Because money in an election is a significant indicator of moral degeneration of any society.
Yes, that is correct.
Because if I am giving you money to give me a vote, to influence how a vote, actually money, we don't give money so that you give us votes. No, we use money as an influencer, as a
facilitator, you want to mean?
No. You see, money which is a facilitator is, okay, I have fuel to make me go to Rwenzero. And I have airtime to talk to people and ask them for a vote. I have money to print my posters so that I can do some publicity. That is okay money. But when I give you money to vote me, in real sense, I am suffocating your ability to choose. You're going to choose against a reward. And remember that a reward is supposed to come after something has been done, a good work has been done. But here I am confiscating your will, I am arresting you, I am imprisoning the person in you, so that you are like I'm predetermining your decision. So that's why I'm saying that if we had, and that's why for me I continue to adore and admire Kadaga, that she stood out and said, until I am voted out. You remember she said that statement. She said, I am the incumbent, I'm going to stay in the race until I am voted out. And after being voted out, she said this, that this election was marred by two factors. One, massive bribery, meaning that people's will was bought. Number two, state protection in form of intimidating voters. So as a society, money is good, we cannot refuse it. We are already poor, but the system has made us poor. And how has the system made us poor? By overtaxing us. Actually, we would be having money.
Okay.
We would be.
But
No, you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. That when you get a salary of 10,000, by default, 30% of that money is already gone. It's not yours. So you have 6,000 to spend, making you poorer.
Okay.
Mr.
So
Naji,
that's why I want to
I don't
debunk.
agree
Let
with-
me say something. Let me say something and conclude.
Conclude.
That's why I want to debunk to Msime's argument. You see, the shilling has appreciated. You see, the dollar has depreciated against the shilling. If so, then let the price of soap reduce. Let the price of fuel reduce, because our money has become stronger.
Okay.
Yes, but first of all, it's a fact. The dollar has appreciated. I mean, the shilling has appreciated. Currently, in fact, I was.
How does that help me?
But it helps you. We can go into that one later. But
That
first
is
of
not
all,
topic for the day.
yes,
but,
no problem. But first of all, Mr. Wanyaji, this idea that money in an election is a generation of morality is very subjective and may, in many cases, not be true.
Why would that be subjective?
For instance, let me give you from his own example, where he sets two different categories, where you use money as just an enabler versus where you just buy. It's almost impossible to distinguish in reality. You know why? Because Mr. Wanyaji.
No, if at
Yes.
all,
Really?
no,
I'm going to
no,
come to
no,
that.
That would be easy.
no,
Edgar,
Yes,
if
yes.
at all
If
I am
I
a
buy
candidate.
an
No,
iPad,
listen.
if I buy an
no,
iPad
wait, sir.
for you-
If at all I'm a candidate
Yes.
and I'm going to have a town hall engagement and I bought boxes of water for the voters, maybe for the electorate, that would literally be facilitation to just enable this to happen.
But it is also bribery.
Exactly.
How
No,
would
no,
you?
no, it's
No,
a
no, no,
Why?
refreshment.
No, why?
No, it's
Why not?
No.
Even
Why
on
not?
a barrio.
No, wait.
If
Wait,
I
wait.
go to a barrio
On
and
a
we are given
barrio,
water,
are they corrupting us?
what
Yes,
is
yes.
that?
No,
On a
let me come to that,
barrio,
Mr. Wanyaji.
are they
Exactly.
corrupting us?
Let me explain that, because I thought it was that easy. It's not like that. And I'll give you a scenario. So, Mr. Wanyaji, when you go to Kafunda and you eat food of 2K, you've eaten food for your survival. Will you say me who has gone to Serena to eat a plate of 70,000, I'm bribing, I'm not eating for survival? It comes to the standards and quality. Wait a minute. If you take your delegates and you want to give them water because it's what you used to, it's what you think they deserve, and I have mine, I think they deserve champagne and I can afford it.
That's
I'm also facilitating
agree
them.
with Edgar.
So it's all about your level. If your level is water, don't push me into thinking that I also have to buy them water for me not to bribe. So
afford wine.
exactly, if I can afford wine,
So,
so
is the 8
it
million?
is
Yes.
about this is what I'm telling you. This issue of corruption, you can't blame it on the candidates.
No,
It's
no,
about
no,
the
no,
voters.
investigate.
It's for you to decide
By the way,
that as much as
no,
I've taken
no,
champagne,
What you're saying?
as much as I've taken champagne, your ideas don't make sense.
I
I vote
agree.
for the one who voted.
Investigate.
But you can't blame it on the
I
candidate.
agree with.
Speak to the
I
microphone.
agree with Edgar. If you're saying for me, I can afford to buy my voters Nirvana, but Mpaka can afford to buy them wine. Do not accuse him of bribing them. That is yes.
No.
Then,
What do you mean?
Then we are,
It's
we are
about-
that means if at all me, I can allow the voters, send them a bus to transport them from point A to point B,
let me ask
and
you.
one who buys them
Yes.
motorcycles
See,
to move from point A to B.
Let me tell
And
you,
you think those are the two?
delegates
Those are the
have-
same.
The delegates had a
Let me bring something
facilitation
better.
of
No,
700,000.
wait. Is
So
that the
for
same?
me, if I can afford
Wait,
to take them
let's-
to
let's-
Serena and
No,
4
no,
points
let me bring
for them to
something
sleep
better.
there.
Can we
Or
have
I
order?
have-
Let's have
Order,
order.
order,
Let's have
order.
order.
Let me
Let's
bring
have-
something better. In the NRM Entrepreneurs League, it is alleged some rich billionaire got people and took them to South Africa, hid them in the USA. The NRM delegates enterprise somewhere, even in Los Angeles, enjoying life. Why did the president stop that election if it is about ability?
By the
Yes.
way,
So,
he did
no,
not
no, no, no,
stop
no, no.
that election.
Why
He didn't stop it.
Speak to
is
the
it
microphone.
out of schedule?
It is
Listen,
out
listen,
of
listen.
Violence.
Can I have
Violence.
order? Can I have order? Can I have
Why is it out
order?
of schedule?
Peter,
Violence.
Peter, you've raised a matter. Now allow
Listen.
those that want to debunk it.
First
Speak.
respond to Peter, I'll come to later.
Yes.
So for me, Banyaji, if it is, then we must make a clear distinction, because if I
Answer
can,
my entrepreneurs.
Are you the host of this show? What is the problem?
so
Then let him
because
act as so.
even those who were contesting against Basajja Baraba took delegates from their home areas and brought them to Kampala. If it is not bribery, why should you say me Basajja Baraba, who can afford them, take to Kenya? That is bribery.
Exactly. So, Mr. Banerjee, also Banerjee, also, wait.
But I think
Banerjee, also, wait. Mr. Banerjee, also, for more
Edgar and
context.
Bruce.
For more
Edgar and
context.
Bruce.
No.
Wait. I think Edgar and Bruce, you're not being on.
No, we are.
You're actually supporting the impunity.
No.
They are suffering
Mr.
from
Banerjee,
elitism.
let me give you an example.
Eli-
That's what I mean.
Elite,
Mr.
councillors,
Banerjee,
elitism.
let's take it now even from politics. Mr. Banerjee, even in civil society, there are conferences where you bring delegates. Because of your budget, you will tell them, look for places of 40K. Look for places of this K. And they are there, they survive and they come. There are also those conferences which are funded by UN that have money, where people sleep at Sheraton and etc. So should we say therefore that UN is corrupt, is bribing, because
Banyaji, I have
it has
one
the
question for
resources
you.
to take people to Sheraton,
Let's hear
while
from
the
Sifa.
other
Let me
conferences
Let me
take
ask you
them
this
to this
question
one.
before you go to Sifa. You were talking about the delegates who were stranded. So should I not come to their rescue and give them comfort and take them to where they can sleep? Because I'm going to be accused of bribery.
No, you see what we are talking
Shouldn't
about.
I give them facilitation?
see,
because
what-
I will be accused of bribery.
You see,
Just because I
Conclude
can
on that.
bribe more
Conclude on that,
does not
Banerjee.
make
Exactly.
I
Yes, so,
said-
Banerjee.
I'm going
where's
to
CJ?
bring.
I said
On the issue of
something.
bribery, therefore,
I said
We are not
something.
going to speak at the same time.
Okay, so
But
conclude
it's
that.
me who is
It was
deciding
me
who is
speaking.
going to
Please,
speak.
I beg. Please,
it was
I
me
beg.
Which
While we
information are
speaking-
you giving us?
This I beg.
It was-
I said that money is a suffocator of the will of people. If we are petroleum engineers and the UN calls us for a conference and asks us that, you see, we want diluted petrol to be supplied in Kenya. And then, for example, Ministry of ICT also calls us a small ministry and says, we want you to maintain the highest grade of petrol and supply it to Kenya. Which conference should we go for? That's what we are talking about.
this one is
In
this
an
one is-
election,
no.
You,
That-
in an election,
it has
you
not-
buy off.
Exactly.
You buy
No,
off
he has
the
even wasted
will
my time.
of people.
Protect my time.
We have
Money
had-
influences the will of
we
the
have had
people
you now.
Okay,
to
thank
vote
you. Mr. Naji.
Thank you,
for an
Peter.
absentee
Thank you,
MP.
No,
Peter.
no, phone on,
Thank
please.
you, Peter.
My
No,
time.
no. See, no, wait. Sifa.
I want to go back to the issue of bribery. Peter started it very well, though along the way he made it middled up. And I want to ask Bruce, my friend Bruce and Mutungisa. You're saying that if someone can afford champagne, then that is not bribery. But if someone can afford water, that is their level. Now we are just making, it's a coincidence and we're just contradicting ourselves. If you are condemning bribery, let it be condemned altogether. Because if someone is lining up people and giving them 1,000, and you hear that even something has been nullified because of evidence of bribery and buying votes and whatever, then someone is giving 100K, what is the difference? It is all bribery.
No,
so what I'm saying, this is the same thing I've been telling opposition politicians, that if you are condemning money in politics, it should be uniform and general, not specific to NRM.
That
People
is
are now
correct.
saying, the opposition are saying NRM ebenehereza sente kororo, and we have given you examples here several that even opposition abantu bahereza musente kufunda nemyanya na flag. So if something is evil, let us condemn it as Ugandans, as NRM, as politicians.
No,
And if someone is giving a lot of money and little money, that is all bribery. Let's condemn
Okay,
it. But
great,
the
great.
distinction should be. Kwale wa itabantu kabaha means let's just categorically say that is not bribery. Konka kwera wahereza umuntu sente ngo akutera karuru oba wa masiningi 10 oba wa mamiliyoni 5, that is bribery.
Yes.
Let's condemn it.
Okay. Yes, Apollo, give us that information.
Just in 40 seconds, and then Mutunjisa will respond to it. Now, there is a Kanchuruho, who is our friend here. You've hosted her before. Her sister said that they decided to accommodate 400 delegates who are going to participate in the youth elections. Of course, she's a candidate for Western Youth MP. So where they were accommodating them from, Toyota, who is a brother of the president, went and accessed them from where they were being hosted by Daisy. And then, of course, Toyota is campaigning for Kakwanzi. And then they decided also to start bribing them or giving them money from there. So between Daisy and the Kakwanzi, who was bribing, because also, remember, these delegates were already facilitated by NRM, but this one also decided to go and keep them somewhere and start facilitating them with accommodation. But another party also went there and gave them more money. So it is all bribery, and I would say so. And it has to be condemned.
Calm down,
It has
Peter.
to
What
be
is the problem?
it has to be condemned. So both Daisy and the other party of Kakwanzi also were doing bribery. And,
Okay.
and if I was President Museveni, I would kick both of them out of the election.
Let's go to the lifeline of the show. The telephone calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let's get to hear from you when you call us on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Good morning, West Governor.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mr. Joseph Kroy, cruising in from Wengure. I'm not supporting the issue of money in politics because neretera twabura ba leaders barungi kandi nimba surprise binareba Edgar yona agira ngo sente ndizire wazi unka sente zireta twaja ba leaders bazi kandi hati n'ikindi eshonga ya Kadaga na nane samonge ba speaker zabo nanga abatari muntu okusinga karuru amonge unka bakasente baretire asinga karuru kandi n'ikindi omuntu ine sanction z'amahanga mingi kandi zakutuyamba kandi ntuye y'ukwezi ate nasinga atakaruru kandi nicyo tukurebera parliament yakwedinga burusha yona ne nanka neryenguzi negira so amonga abatari okusinga karuru unka due to the influence of Mr. Museveni. That's why we are facing the nation challenge. Good morning, West Governor.
All right, I want to appreciate you. Let's get another call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let's get to hear from you on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let's get your opinion on what you think about commercialization and whatever happened at Kololo. The big set. Hello. Hello, caller. All right. The big seat.
Yes, Cruise FM.
Yes, my good friend, and good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you, Mr. Council Banyaji.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you're speaking to me, MC Muhereza, calling in here in Kamwenge district. I will first and foremost thank the panelists that you have brought in the studios of Cruise FM.
Yes, please.
But the things that they are describing as if there are some people who are describing as if they are the presenters of the show. So back to the matter, Mr. Brother, I want to tell you bribery is always allowed for these people because you can't wake up and say that these people simanyi bamugura shilingi zingahe urakaraba yaso kugira ngo bundi bamugureze esente zo kutera karuru bakamugura shilingi 20 uri akigira ngo bamugura akashaho ko monyo ninga bamuhereze kilo emwe ya sukari ubona muno buguzi it doesn't matter ninga shi kikamatari kugira ngo yango bamugura shilingi yore kuba ari bamugureze okubakamugureze wakiya ngo wina ngo ate ngo botibwa ngo oburi bwenguzi ninga shoko kugira ngo yango bamugura tibamugura.
All right, so, I want to thank you. Sorry, we've had your point. On Cruise TV, David, you're saying this was not NRM Delegates Conference, it was PLU Delegates Conference. In reality, because all members were PLE leaning, You're Omungarikazo, you're listening to, you're watching the show. Tigo Julius, you're watching from Nile West in Nebi. Arinda Matthias, you're appreciating us for the show. You're streaming all the way from Andrews in Kacheka. Chosi Mide Grace, you're watching the show. Bessie Joe Wycliffe, you're saying hello, Cruz. You're listening in from Msich and Mtanga. I want to appreciate you. Ndemire Elias, you're streaming all the way from Bushenyi, and I thank you. Martinelli Hillary in Ruyanga there. And then all the Warugaba Onesimus, you're in Buhwejo. Let me read a bit of Facebook. The messages are quite many. Navasa Jude, you're saying this truly portrays what Ugandans now, and have opened their minds towards the future leadership. Dallas Official is saying with the allegations of bribery and commercialized politics, it's concerning when the integrity of such a process is compromised. Isaac Kahunde, you're saying the main challenge we have here in Uganda is corruption, and democracy can't be expressed in a country that is sitting on the foundation of corruption. Ainerahanga Aston, you're saying people no longer choose the bright leaders. It is simply those that have money. At Huera Longino, you're saying this government for really has nothing to renew what happened in the NRM primaries. Kato Bruno, I see you. It shows that the delegates didn't choose to their satisfaction, but rather corruption in the NRM. All of you that are sending in your messages, we want to appreciate you. Let me go to X, the introvert. You're saying the loss of the incumbents is part of the regime's recent agenda to replace the capable leaders with the incompetent sycophants who easily promote the party's unpopular programs. Kakulu Dickens, you're saying, of course, the delegates simply reward the highest bidders. Rukundo Ronald, you're saying you're impressed with Tanga's counting, jumping from 170 to 180. He was counting in tens. Adidas Aguma, you're saying the highest bidder walked away with the win. Then there's a good friend of mine, Lawrence. I failed to read that in Yankore there. Rukija, you're saying you're listening in from Nyachitunda Isinjiro. Thank you, Lawrence. And the messages are quite many. Sam Alan, you're streaming all the way in Bahrain. And you're saying, I think when you see all the bidders, you are selected. It was PLU. Gilbert Mohanji, you're appreciating us for the show. And you're saying we can only see that politics without money is no more in Uganda. And on and on and on, the conversation is going on. Let me pick your parting shots. And but before that, Edgar, before we went for the calls, you had something to say.
Yes. I had a lot to say, Mr. Manaj. It's fair you come back. Thank you. Now, I was saying these people, they must understand what's the difference between bribery and whatever it is. Because we must appreciate that it will be a different conversation if you use your money to buy ballots or to influence other people to print for you ballots. That's a different conversation. But when it comes to things of facilitation and the delegates, we must appreciate it, Mr. Manager. But secondly, let's not pretend. And we need to know who should hold the blame.
Let me ask you a question. I think it would be very easy to distinguish between facilitation and open-cut bribery. There's a video that circulated of Kabyanga, an MP from Kasese, giving 2,000 to every person that was in his line.
Okay.
He could stand and say, I was facilitating my voters.
Yes. I'm going to come to that, Mr. Manager. I'm going to come to that. You see, because that's what I told you. So in principle, if you go that road, then everything will be bribery, including the cup of juice or cup of water. This is why then I say, the real conversation therefore should be who is to blame for bribery. You can't blame the candidate who will do that and they quote facilitation. You should instead blame the voter. For you, are you a sheep that whoever brings money and gives champagne want that you vote? Because otherwise we continue to have this element where the blame, as the voters keep on asking, give me sugar, give me bread, give me whatever. And if you don't give it to them, they won't vote for you. So otherwise we continue to put the blame on the wrong party. So the voters just go on as sheep claiming, oh, he bought us. You're not cows. So if you are both, the blame is on you. Okay. But they're the ones who have set the standard. And Mr. Nyaji, lastly, even look at the police things. We complain police is corrupt, but when we are the ones who make it corrupt. You will go there, the guy stops you, even before the guy says, oh, your tires are old. You first pull 5K and you give it to him. And later you come to radio and say, these guys are corrupt. But when you are the guy who is asking for that corruption, it is the citizens who are corrupt. These guys are simply playing the responsibility, and it can be deemed as facilitation in principle.
Okay, Peter Mpaka, your parting shot.
If I win, and become an MP from Bara City North, I'm taking a law in Parliament to put a cap in how much a candidate can spend in an election.
How will you limit that? How will you know that?
I'm going to put, we are going to put all indicators possible. We will discuss the law. The good thing you are a lawyer and I'm going to employ you in my office.
Okay. Is
You
that
will
your parting
advise
shot?
us. So I want to encourage our listeners that please choose the message over the money. And that's how our Uganda will develop. Look at a leader who is advocating for policies that are going to develop our country, rather than somebody coming and they blindfold you with something and then you vote wrongly.
Sifa Safi, your parting shot.
Thank you, Banyajan. Thank you, the listeners. Banyaj, what happened was good and bad. Bad in the sense that it set a very bad precedent, making it very difficult for some of us and other people who did the same to start, condemning bribery and voter and all that. But I want to tell the listeners that someone has said that we should blame those who are being bribed, but even the ones who bribe are in wrong. Because we should blame that and we should really condemn that, and it's very bad. But finally, I want to tell Ugandans and voters that it is not written anywhere and it is not criminal anywhere in Uganda. If you have someone, a parent who is in a big position, maybe president, vice, or chairman, electoral commission somewhere, that you cannot stand and win somewhere. So people are saying that it was wrong for Collins Odoi to be declared winner. Genuinely, that's right, and we congratulate him. Thank you.
Yes, Apollos.
Yes. To a large extent, my colleague here, Mutonjisa, is a bit wrong. Is wrong actually. One of the major three grounds of setting aside an election or nullifying an election is eligibility. That is, if you did not qualify for that position, court will throw you out. Non-compliance, if there was no non-compliance of the law, election management process, it will be put to substantiality test, and then court will throw you out. Another one, and the most important, is bribery. And bribery is not even put on a substantiality test. As long as they find out that you paid 2,000 to buy one and you have evidence of that, court will throw you out. And this is what President Museveni would have done. He did not do us a favor by, Bruce is here saying we had an election, but this was a chance for you to clear NMS. President Museveni would have stood and make a ruling that Basaja Baraba or Karangwa or whoever is being accused of money or Echodu be thrown out, because there was evidence of bribery. Yes. We have videos, we have evidence. They should have been thrown out of that election so that people can start fearing that if I participate or I engage myself in doing this, it is not going to work out for me. And then they start fearing to bribe voters for the next election. It would have made sense. Thank you very much.
Bruce Wakund.
Well, like I've said in my...
But Edgar is speaking last.
Well, like I said in my submissions, political space is not given on a silver plate. So you must fight for it. Another thing is that one of the contestants in the Western Youth MP told me, and that a good friendship is like a star. You see it when it is dark. At when hato in a sentence, you can imagine. Because if I'm standing against you, Council Banyaji, and you start bribing people with 5,000, yet I can mobilize 10,000. How do you expect me to sit and you take my vote? These people are also tied in a very difficult situation.
Now the leadership, especially the chairperson, the chairman of the party, has a responsibility.
And there is a notion...
Because this is unsustainable.
There is a notion that people who have the ability to bribe or rich people are bad leaders. We should also interrogate that next time. Who says that we the poor, me and Mpaka, necessarily we are the best for the position, not the other way around. So
I actually think rich people serve the best. Rich people serve the best. Yes, have you concluded?
Yes, that was my conclusion.
Edgar.
Yes, thank you so much. So the listeners out there, I think there's a caller who said they didn't agree with the issue of bribery, and also my brother here says they don't agree, because if you say there was evidence, that will be an issue of court to determine, because again, there are many angles. But also, guys, this is politics. This is not always contest for a purpose. And also, like I mentioned, the power to stop all this corruption and bribery is hinged in the powers of the voters. Mr. Banyadi, these guys are just speaking for the camera. If you pass that rule that you're going to go there and stop money from the delegates themselves will beat you up. The voters themselves will beat you up.
Thank you so much, Edgar Mtunsa. Thank you, Apollo Musime. Thank you, Bruce Wakunda. Thank you, Sifa Safi. Thank you, Peter Mpaka. It's been a very fantastic show. Let's meet next Saturday on the Big City. We have news at the top of the hour. My name is Wesley Banyadi. A friend of mine is getting married today. Celia Alinda, I wish you all the best at your marriage. God bless you. See you next time. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.